There's this really vibrant root vegetable. It might just be one of the most powerful and honestly overlooked allies for your heart. Yep, we're talking about beets. Today, we're going to dive into the science and show you the best ways to prepare them to help support your blood pressure. So, could a simple root vegetable really be a key to better blood pressure? You might be surprised to hear that the science is pretty clear on this one. Yes, it absolutely can. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the biological magic behind it all, and then show you the most effective ways to make it work for you. All right, so here's our game plan. First up, we'll establish that link between beets and blood pressure. Then, we'll get into the cool science of how they actually work. After that, it's all about getting practical. We've got 7 awesome ways to eat them, some pro cooking tips, and finally, we'll cover the risks so you have the whole picture. Let's get into it. Okay, section 1, the beet blood pressure link. Let's start with the big question, right? Why are we even talking about beets for heart health in the first place? What's the deal? Well, for starters, this isn't just some old folk remedy. Beets are actually a recognized part of medically reviewed plans, like the DASH diet. And in case you're wondering, DASH stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. It's literally a diet designed specifically to help manage high blood pressure. Okay, so we've established that they work. But how? I mean, what's actually happening inside your body? This next part is where things get really fascinating. It's this really cool 4-step process. So you eat beets, right? They're packed with these natural compounds called nitrates. Then your body does its thing and converts those nitrates into something called nitric oxide. And this is the key. That nitric oxide tells your blood vessels to just relax and open up. When they're wider, your blood can flow more freely, and that brings your blood pressure down. Simple as that. Here's a fantastic way to picture it. Think of your blood vessels as highways. Nitric oxide is like the traffic controller who suddenly opens up all the lanes during peak rush hour. Boom! All of a sudden, everything is flowing smoothly with way less pressure and congestion. It's a perfect analogy. And you know what? Beets are not a one-trick pony. They're kind of a triple threat. First, you've got that nitric oxide relaxing the blood vessels. Second, they can actually help offset some of the negative effects of salt. And third, they're loaded with antioxidants that also help regulate blood pressure. It's a win-win-win. Okay, the science is cool, right? But now for the important part, how do we actually put this into practice? Let's dive into our top 7 ways to get all these beet benefits into your daily routine. First up, let's talk about beet juice. This is probably the most efficient way to get those nitrates into your system. Why? Because the juice is super concentrated. A good tip is to drink it on an empty stomach, so your body can absorb everything without interference. Aiming for about 1 cup a day is a great place to start. All right, method number 2, going raw. When you eat them raw, you're getting the absolute maximum nitrate content because nothing gets lost to heat. Try slicing them paper thin or grating them into a salad. It's delicious. They go so well with dark leafy greens and nuts, and a little squeeze of lemon or lime juice really brightens up that earthy flavor. But of course, you can totally cook them. Roasting or baking brings out this amazing, sweet flavor. The only thing to watch out for is overcooking them, because too much heat can lower that nitrate content. And here's a little pro tip for you. Steaming is usually better than boiling if you want to hang on to as many nutrients as possible. How about a warm, hearty soup? Borscht is a classic soup where beets are the absolute star of the show. It's such a fantastic way to pack in other DASH-friendly vegetables, too. The big thing to remember here, though, is to use a low-sodium broth and lay off the extra salt. You don't want to accidentally undermine all the good you're doing. Okay, if you're craving a satisfying crunch, you've got to try dried beets. You can even make your own healthy chips. Just slice them thin and bake them in a really low oven until they're crispy. They're also amazing sprinkled on salads or even yogurt for some extra flavor and texture. All right, method 6, pickled beets. We all know that amazing, tangy, sweet and sour flavor, right? They're a total classic. But, and this is a big but, there's a critical catch. The pickling brine can be loaded with sodium. And that choice of brine is everything. A high sodium brine can literally cancel out all the good stuff the beets are doing for your blood pressure. So the takeaway is simple. Either hunt for low sodium versions at the store, or even better, make your own. That way you're in total control of the salt. And last but not least, we have beet powders and supplements. Now, these are super convenient for tossing into smoothies, I get it, but this is where you really need to be a savvy consumer. Why? Because research shows the nitrate levels in these products are all over the place. They can be incredibly inconsistent. So the bottom line here is pretty clear. Whole food beets give you a consistent, reliable source of nitrates. With supplements, it's a bit of a gamble. In fact, some studies looked at popular supplements and found they had zero measurable effect on blood pressure. So when in doubt, the whole vegetable is almost always your best bet. All right, so we know how to eat them. Now let's run through a few quick and dirty prep tips to make sure you're getting the absolute most out of every single beet. Here are a few quick pro tips for you. First, try to keep the skin on when you cook them. It helps lock in the nutrients. Second, a little bit of acid, like lemon juice or vinegar, can help preserve them. Third, and this is a big one, don't add salt while cooking. And finally, a very practical warning. Be careful. That gorgeous color will stain, well, everything. Your hands, your clothes, your cutting board. You've been warned. Okay, we're heading into our final section, and this one is super important because as great as beets are, it's really essential to know about the potential downsides too. So, are there any real risks? Well, yes. For certain people, there are definitely a few things you need to keep in mind to make sure you're doing this safely. So here's the rundown. If you're already taking blood pressure medication, you absolutely need to talk to your doctor first. You don't want the combined effect to be too much. Also, if you're prone to kidney stones or gout, beets might increase that risk, so be mindful. And one last thing, you might notice your urine turns a pinkish or reddish color. Don't panic, it's a little startling, but it's totally harmless. And there you have it. We've covered the science, the best ways to eat them, and the safety stuff you need to know. We've laid out all the options, so now the only question left is for you. Which one of these healthy beet preps are you going to try first?